Yes, good morning, and thank you, Courtney, for being here today to join us as the moderator for our candidate forum. And first, I want to congratulate and thank all the candidates for taking the time to run their campaigns, to run and earn your votes for the betterment of our community. And thank you again. I'm Lopez. I have 32 years of dedicated public service. I can leverage my experience to your benefit in these areas. For example, with the new board of directors electing myself onto that board, one priority will be to deliver exceptional customer service to members. I work for the Social Security Administration. Customer service is priority number one. No matter who you are, where you're from, or respective of your background, we treat you with dignity and respect. And then also for the next board, to oversee transparent annual audits, and also to further enhance your common areas and raise your property values. I believe that's a valuable, way of bringing the community together. We can look at adding amenities that improves quality of service. I have top secret security clearance. I have a master of business administration, and I am running on your side for a change. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Gregory Morin, and I I'm now retired after a 40-year career in the public industry. I manage multi-million-dollar sales territories here in 16 Western United States, also in Canada, and also in the maquiladora business along the entire U.S.-Mexico international border. I've lived in Moreno Valley since 1984. I've lived in Sunny Ranch since 1996. I raised my family here. My children attended public schools. It's a beautiful community for us. And I find that it's now time to give a little bit more back to this community. I've already participated in a lot of community service. And I look forward to serving on the board of directors.
Good morning. My name is Merrill Nunally. I'm retired after 34 years of public service. I'm also retired from as a lieutenant commander for the U.S. Navy. I've lived in the community since 2002. I've been actively involved in the community as a volunteer bowling coach. I've been doing that for the last 25 plus years. I've also been in touch with the community in terms of things that they've seen that's going on in the areas and the changes that they'd like to see. We've discussed a lot of things, and a lot of things that want to try to help improve upon in the community. And that's the whole purpose of what we want to do, including talking about it, wanting to be warm and inviting where people will want to hear.
My name is Renee Osburn. You can find me on reneeosburn.com to find out more information. I consistently campaign for bringing non-compliant homes into compliance for the betterment of our community. I pulled out a campaign plan from 2 years ago, and it says exactly the same things. However, now we're actually getting some traction. We're beginning to see the fruits of those labors on the part of the board. And that's what I hope to continue. I also want to thank everybody here on Zoom, as well as my fellow candidates for taking part. But again, addressing out of compliance properties, my future goals is the trifecta. If you've been to any open sessions, you know that the board is working diligently on putting lights, access control, and cameras at each of the gates here on property for liability and security reasons. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Courtney, for that question. Of course, anything in the pipeline that the board of directors has approved, we certainly must follow through, and also must follow through within our Community Association Institute information that's put out there. We have our CPNRs that keep us in compliance, and also the Common Interest Development Act. We also have governing documents, our bylaws, our rules and regulations. So yes, we must continue those projects as approved by the board of directors, and also regardless of whether you're in the minority vote or not, at the end of the day, as board of directors, we still respect the overall decision of the board. And also, I do want to touch back on some of the items I didn't get to encounter on that 1 minute opening statement. It was rather short. I am Robert Rules of Order certified. I also have Community Associates Institute Board of Certification. I also served as the U.S. Senate Supervisor in the year 2020 during the pandemic. I have 24 years of honorable military service. I am a retired Army combat veteran and Navy warrior. I retired as a Master Sergeant. And also regarding, vendors, I believe we need to open up our contracts to competitive bidding and maximize returns on association assessments. So thank you for allowing me to conclude my opening statement as a candidate. And again, I stand with the board regardless of outcome, whether you're in the majority vote or minority vote. I support the decision. Thank you.
Okay, I have been attending some of the open forum meetings. I did propose to organize a club during the last year. I also attended the summer concert that we had, and I attended the Halloween activity and the Christmas activity, or I should say holiday activity. I do serve in the community. I served in Boy Scouts of America over many years in the district and council positions. I've also led a church congregation here in Renee Valley for a Spanish-speaking congregation. I do speak Spanish fluently as a second language, and I also led a church congregation here in Renee Valley for an English-speaking congregation. I am certified here in Renee Valley, the Community Emergency Response Team, and that is a training program the City of Renee Valley does to have prepared citizens to help in the event of an emergency. With our earthquake on Wednesday, it's a reminder that we do need to prepare for emergencies.
Yes.
Okay, another 30 seconds. I also, in my professional career, I served as president of the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers for the Untitled Chapter here in the Inland Empire. I also served as treasurer for the American Society of Plumbing Engineers Los Angeles chapter. I have kept myself very busy serving while being engaged in work. Thank you.
As Renee has indicated, we still want to keep the property lines open, but we want to my goal will be to make the community more friendlier, more where they can reach out to the board at any time to discuss things without any fear of retaliations and also some of the things I like to see is to bring back, restore some of the things like when I first came here, the aerators, certain things, you see the fountain spraying and you don't see that as often out there. At one time when it was on here, when the aerators was going, you had this weird smell that's went across, and people were complaining about that. I want to bring back the honoring the veterans, like when we had the breakfast where people, community came in and honored the veterans, and when people shake their hands. Just kind of get to know each other, know the things like that. I also want to take a hard look at the fines that they're currently, in my opinion, they're relatively high. I wanted to work with the board and see how we can improve upon those things. And and make those things, because everybody's in a stress situation in terms financially. I want to look at ways we can improve upon that to where it's not so stressful for the individual that are living here. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. As I indicated, some of my goals moving forward, move forward with that trifecta project. We have 14 gates on property, but 12 on property here, 2 another property. So we're working through that. Currently, we're tackling two of those projects. This is going to be a long-term project because we want to make sure that we have the money to afford them. And if it takes 3 years to do the project, so be it. But eventually, it will benefit our community from a risk and safety and security perspective. We are working on the Lake Club signage. If you come in or don't come in through any of the gates, it's a hodgepodge of, handmade signs or office-made signs, company signs. We're going to redo that. We are a premier community and we need to look like it. New member mixers. After COVID, we've never been able to revitalize the hospitality committee. I would like to get that moving again. And what my vision for that committee is not to hand deliver stuff to homeowners any longer, because I just don't feel that that's safe, but to invite new homeowners when they close escrow to a mixer here. Coffee, tea, whatever. And as part of that mixer, they get to meet other members. They get to meet the architectural committee. They get to meet the activities committee. We'll tell them how to get their access card, get them off started on the right foot. And so, by the way, here's the rules. You can't leave the trash cans out, things like that. And then my other project is our monuments that we have. So our monuments were built in 1984. They're consist of masonry as well as that wood component is actually wood that has been weathered out there since 1984. Consequently, we have a lot of dry rot and probably termites as well. So instead of scrapping them and starting them again, which would be significant dollars, that one. Thank you.
Of course, whatever the board has started and approved should be seen through. And I think that, I'm not aware of everything because I'm not a member of the board, everything they're working on, but I have also put in an application to serve on the fishing committee, and with my background in pumping equipment, I think I could be an asset to that committee. The lake is our jewel here in the community, and it needs to be kept clean and healthy, and be a bright and living monument. So yes, things that are in the works should be seen to completion.
Okay, for the board is attending a lot of the events on the property. I have been able to, my schedule is very active, which where I'm involved in a lot of different projects in which build inside the community. I have been actively participating, following the open forums online through Zoom calls. So I'm aware of some of the projects that are being budgeted and haven't already been approved, and also still in the works. I'm also aware of the ones that's been around for a while that we're waiting for the project to actually be started. So there's a lot of things that I feel that if we would need to look at the budget to make sure that we're not overspending our budget year after year, and that would be some upfront discussion on it. But for the things that have already been approved, yes, we have to follow through those because we've already, it's been approved. It's been hopefully the budget in our budget to have those things completed without going over. As far as the participation to the different events, those are things that I really wish I could have be involved in, but each time they were scheduled, I had some that I was already committed to where I couldn't come to. So on that, I fall short.
As I just mentioned, the trifecta for safety, security, liability issues. So we need to know who's on our property here. The lake club signage, the pool, furniture, the cheap lounges, and the process of replacing the slings on those new member mixer. It is the other projects that we have going on. Director Lopez and I have been working diligently on the RV lots. We have a number of projects on there that we need to work through. I want to mention to Merrill the fountains rather than the bubblers. Those are ongoing issue. We love them. They break down, unfortunately, and in the process we have to rebuild them and so on. So it is a process. And I did ask the previous directors, is there a value to them? I mean, is it just because they're pretty, or does it add oxygen? And it doesn't. They're pretty, and I'm good with that because they are pretty and they are beautiful. However, we have bubblers in the lake that oxygenate the lake and help the fish survive. The other thing that we need to continue working on is our dam that we have over here at the Veterans Garden. That is registered with the state of California, and therefore we have all sorts of mandates because our lake is a reservoir, it's full of runoff, and it empties into Poor Man reservoirs. And we have a great deal of rain, and the level of the lake goes up, then we have to open that. So that's one of our projects, right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that question. For the next board of directors, if I could be back onto the board for the vision going forward, is that we need to look at every contract that's out there and let's evaluate how we're spending your assessment dollars, so that as a board we're being good stewards of your assessment dollars. We're spending responsibly within our means. And we need to pay attention to the economy because right now, since the new year, S&P 500 corporations, companies are laying off employees by the thousands. And so is that a time of things to come when it comes to the economy? Well, we need to pay attention because with the cost of goods and services like gas, milk, eggs, those are still going up. And we need to evaluate that. In addition, we need to look at the U.S. Census Bureau. What is our median income for Seminole Ranch? Well, there's two areas in Seminole Ranch that the U.S. Census Bureau recognizes of how they reach the median income. So let's look at that and let's evaluate going forward a fair and balanced approach when it comes to your fines and your dues. And with that new vision as board of directors, it can be reasonable, responsible, transparent, and accountable to you. Let's not go into an area where we're doing a reaction where we want to get the attention of people. Let's follow the process in place. Let's address those issues to those that are in violation to bring into compliance. But also for many of you that I've had the pleasure of knocking on your door, informing that the fines are too high, and we can go back and revisit those fines and the issues. Thank you.
The answer is yes. For those that have been approved and budgeted for those, but for the ones that are still up for discussion, and those that have already been approved but not followed through, I think we probably want to have a second look at those. Even though we've already approved on those, we want to take a look at the reasoning behind why is it taking so long to get forward, to get those projects moving? Because again, that's money that's already been invested, for that project to be activated, to be in place, at least showing progress towards those, for those projects, to show some improvement. For example, as Renee mentioned, the Aviva. I know that that's been thrown on a lot of people's side. There's been complaints, and I've talked with many people who have vehicles in the RV lot that had this, the RVs broken in time and time again. And I do appreciate the board looking at that and trying to develop some way to improve the security on that. But again, trying to do something and actually seeing something happen, makes it frustrating for those members who have been in there and have their property vandalized. So again, while those projects that have been approved, the ones that have been approved for a long time, probably want to revisit those again and see why is it taking so long and how we can move those forward sooner.
This is somewhat of an unfair question. As a seated member of the board, I obviously attend all open sessions, all executive sessions. I will mention for the homeowners, because I'm sure they're not aware, and as my fellow directors are sitting here today, our executive sessions run on an average between 5 and 7 hours each meeting. So those are the long meetings where basically open session, but between an hour and 2. I advise on activities committee. We like to keep directors outside of those committees so that we have volunteers who manage them. But we take an advisory role. I attend as many of the social events, the Christmas events when I'm not traveling. Certainly did New Year's Eve this year, and it's fundamental with movie nights and the concerts. We have spring event coming up, so obviously very active in those, as well as working. I mean, I think there's a difference between just being a director and showing up for the meetings, 5-hour meeting and 2-hour meeting, and then actively getting in and doing the work. Because we have a very, very small staff. We have 3 admin people and general manager and 2 porters. And in order to move projects forward, directors who are actively involved assist. We'll say, Angel took on reworking the RV contract this year, and I applaud his efforts on that. I have taken on a number of different projects, and that's what it takes. Because if you just come and vote in front of you, that will only get us this far. So it is critically important that you get involved. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, according to that question. And of course, I come back to one of my opening remarks about customer service. Because I'm a civil servant working for the Social Security Administration since 2014. As I previously mentioned, customer service is number one. We don't ask questions about, your background, who you support, what you do, or what side of the aisle you vote. We respect you with dignity and respect, and we serve you because you are the taxpayer. And also with the association in regards to that, I view every member as the boss. And let me make it clear to you visually. Masters, servants. Masters, volunteer servants. A volunteer servant means we serve you. And I have a full-time job still. I average anywhere from 8 to 12 hours a day, 60 hours a week. But yet I always burn the midnight oil until midnight working on your behalf to better our community. And as the Madam Chair alluded to, I have the honor and privilege of bringing our RV contract up to date, up to speed in compliance with our CCNRs and state law. And there's more to come with the RV law. But certainly going forward with the new board, we need to leverage their background, their professionalism, any areas that can improve our community, whether it's the dam or the lake club, I understand Henry Morin has an engineering background, and that's part of the reason why, I'm running for your side out to be on your side for a change. But let's leverage the experience of our directors to the best of your benefit. Thank you.
In my opening comments, I mentioned a little bit about being prepared and for emergencies. I think that we need to have an active committee here that is putting articles in the roundup newsletter, how our neighbors here in the community can prepare for the emergency. And so in the event of a disaster, we can respond well. City of Merrill Nunally has annual activities to address these things. And as a part of the community, I think it would be good if we became more involved in our community in preparing neighbors. Neighborhood watches should be promoted. And also, I'm thinking a lot along the lines of Renee. She mentioned the monuments. And they're expensive, but Rancho Belago has put up a lot of signs throughout their community and the entrances to their community. That's something that we should take a look at doing too. And I also think that we should begin our board meetings with an invocation, invite pastors and church leaders throughout the community to come and offer a prayer at the beginning of the meeting. Yes. And I'm not one that will promote one particular religion, although I'm very active in my church. We have 13 articles of faith, and the 11th article of faith says, we claim the privilege of worshiping Almighty God according to the dictates of our own conscience, and allow all men the same privilege. Let them worship how, where, or what they may. I'm very inclusive in that. I just think it's better that somebody attends a church. Thank you.
Yes. Well, and I do agree with Mr. Nunally that if it has been a significant amount of time from the approval, then the bid is probably no longer valid based on the rising costs of things. And that affords us the opportunity to go back and revisit those items. Projects sometimes are stalled for a number of reasons. Construction issues, permitting issues. With the RV lots, it all stemmed from SCE approving a new pedestal. It took us 9 months to get on the SCE project queue. So that's just delayed. And then we have all of these other projects that we're working on, whether it's the loops under the asphalt, or moving the container, which holds our security equipment. So there's a number of different things that all have to work in concert with one another. So yes, we're going to move forward with those projects as well as add other projects along the way. I do want to mention a couple of things that I'm curious about the goals of customer service. And while I agree that customer service is paramount, I'm not sure how we or you, Director Lopez, anticipate moving that project forward or moving that goal forward. So that's something perhaps you can address later for us. That would be great. Because I see changes versus improvements. I don't see anything wrong with what we're doing. Could we do things better moving forward? You betcha. And it's going to take time. And one of my passion projects is allowing for online forums so that, I don't know about you, but I'm working at 1 o'clock in the morning and I want to be able to send something and get some work done. So that's not a bad thing. That's just an improvement going forward. Thank you. Sure, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Courtney, for that question. And it kind of seems unfair for that question. It may be biased if it means towards the incumbent directors. Uh, but nonetheless, I have a strong track record of attending the executive session, and of course, being an incumbent director, our open, sessions, our open agenda for you. And I've had the pleasure of attending the Spring Fest for 2023, and I thank the board for allowing me to be Easter Bunny. It was a pleasure to, interact with families and children, and I was honored that you wanted to take photos with Easter Bunny. Even if my face was not in the photo, I was honored that you actually came to the event, you enjoyed yourself, and had a great time. And then I also had the pleasure of attending the Halloween event. I was dressed as a Trojan because I am a USC Trojans fan of college football. And then I was here for the Winterfest event. I was dressed as a little helper. I was dressed as an elf. Now, I didn't come close to Will Ferrell, but I made my effort. And to address the issue of brought up by Madam Chair, and regarding customer service, all of you that have a smartphone, you have power and tools to do your business on your phone. And we can gear future, apps towards you where you're at home, you fill out an application, you do it online. Not only does it get submitted to the architecture application, but the board of directors can see it in real time. And we can see projects that are going in real time and keep track of them. So that way, by the time we get to, executive session or, the open forum, we are in a position to be informed of all the issues, everyone in synchronization, and we make better decisions to move projects forward for you, for your home. Thank you.
Very good. I'm going to refer back to the monuments, the Sunny Ranch monuments. We need to, the board needs to decide what to do with those, how to revamp them, how to make them look nice and welcoming to the community. We certainly need to set the example to homeowners where pieces of common property are attractive and that they are welcoming. So I think that we should do that. I also think that we should move forward with keeping the community welcoming, safe, nice, and a place that is a shining example to the rest of Moreno Valley, the premier location where we can live. And I think that my experience working with engineers and contractors and building facility owners would help the board of directors as I've got experience in working with these people. Thank you.
One of the major things that I've heard within the community at large is both as a complaint and an observance is which was brought up earlier, is the level of customer service. And I bring this not so much as a level, but as a point of observation. And the observation that I've heard on a number of occasions is that being able to come on a daily basis or in the posted hours, or if they work posted hours for the office where members can come in and do business within the association. Oftentimes it comes, it's closed. So I would like to see that that we have routinely posted in round up the hours that are, in which the, um, office is gonna be open. And that those office hours are maintained. If there's gonna be a change, like it's gonna be closed, that also be on that. Also, if it's gonna be closed, okay, like we send out mass emails for everything else, send out mass emails to everybody saying, hey, we're gonna close on this day, and here's the reason why. The other part that I wanted to, as we talk about, as much as we look at the security within the clubhouse and the interest up here, I want that same type of security for the RV lot. And protecting other people, because they're putting hundreds of thousands of dollars in their property, invested in their property. Shouldn't we treat it the same type of security as we would for the property here? I think we should, and that would be something that I would be looking at and talking with the board, because hopefully we're towards making it a reality.
Yes, thank you, Courtney, for that question. And certainly in reference to the new board, this is your election. You're going to decide who you're going to elect to the new board because, it's anyone's guess who's going to be on the board. It could be any combination of two of us. And so my reference to that is the new board, should should I earn the honor and privilege for me to continue to serve on the board, and I'm prepared to work with the next board of directors, the new board for the year, this year 2024, going to 2025, of how we're going to be responsibly conducting business on your behalf when it comes to combination development and how we can improve in areas where maybe we're falling a little short on. We can identify those areas. We can work together with the board of directors, leverage their experience, their professional qualifications, their background, and let's come up with solutions. Let's not dwell in the past. I know there's some ongoing issues out there, but let's move past that. Let's get away from this side or that side. Let's just get on your side for a change. And so that's why I'm running for re-election, and I would be honored to receive your vote. And for those of you that are considering other candidates, please look at their information, their background, what their platform is, and make a responsible decision. And elect your next board of directors. And I look forward to being on the next board to continue serving. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that question, Courtney. It's quite a list there. There's a lot of information that's available to the community on the website, and that is the era that we live in, that information is available electronically to us, and that aids in the transparency. Of course, there are confidential matters that the board discusses and things that they do in closed sessions, which I have not ever been a member of this board of directors. I don't know what all that entails, but not only will I be transparent in the things that I do, but also I know how to keep confidences and would respect the confidences that are entrusted to me. I again think I bring a lot of business experience to the board with my occupation background, with having served 40 years in the pumping industry, working territories in the western United States, throughout Canada, and along the Mexico-U.S. international border. I kept very, very busy in my career, and all the while contributing to the community in volunteer service. And I feel like I would be able to perform on this board of directors to the highest expectations that the community would have in me.
understand, the climate, nowadays, you have to understand that people, naturally, due to the climate, are naturally cautious. But, does that mean you quit because somebody don't say hello? Oftentimes, the hesitance of them to show that you're sincere in your attempt to be cordial, to be open with them, to get to know them, will eventually reward them. Just because someone turns you down the first time or the second time doesn't say this person doesn't want it. It's just that oftentimes they're just checking you out to find out what's your angle or what it is until they feel that you have nothing behind, no goal or something that behind your sincereness of getting to know this part, getting to know people. And again, things, events like the association has, that's a way of bringing people together. But one of the things that we want to do is the things that will bring people closer is that when we have the free events where people don't feel like they have to pay anything, and they can come in and get to know each other and discuss and get to and generally talk. We used to have that years ago when I first came in. I don't feel that we have that kind of community at present. I could be wrong, but from the people that I've talked to within the community, they don't feel the warmth on that. So I'm just speaking on that.
So again, I look at changes versus improvements. I don't think anything fundamentally is wrong with our organization nor the way the board views things. There's a ton of things that I think need improvement. I would like the ARC application to be an online form, available still to be handwritten by whoever doesn't have the technology skills to do it. However, just being able to do that online. The clubhouse rental agreement needs to be revised. We know that somebody's got to do it. It takes time. The ARC guidelines have just been presented from the architectural committee. Those need to be gone over. So there's like a slew of projects that have to go on. And as well as all the other ones, I actually do that. But so I'll take this opportunity to address Mr. Nunnally's concerns about office hours. Office hours are provided every month in the roundup. Those office hours are adhered to. Now we have a gentleman, or we have one staff member who works on Saturdays. Actually, I don't think in the last 9 months that we've ever had anyone call out sick on that day, but that may happen. We go so far as to e-blast our members, like when SCE said that they're going to work on the property out front, and we're not going to have the ability to have electricity. We e-blast that information out. Guess what? The staff is still here. So if you come, you can talk to them. I'm not sure that they can pull up your information since there's no electricity. So I take exception to that. And to Gregory's point, neighborhood watches, while we support them, many years ago, you may remember the Trayvon Martin shooting in Florida that happened on an HOA. It was after that particular incident where the HOA was sued for that one man's death, and the HOA had a substantial settlement against them, and the homeowners paid for them. And therefore, I'm just going to follow up on this last point. So while we support it, okay.
Thank you.
Excuse me, a newborn usually, if I were being elected, we didn't constitute a newborn or Merrill. But just a change in the board would be a new board. I can work with wide variety of personalities and people. I would not have any problem working with any combination of the new board. We are 4 people here today. We are soon 2 seats. And if I were elected, I hope I am, then I would very much look forward to it. I am looking forward to making my contribution to a new board. Thank you.
Some of the things I'd like to see a little bit more transparency is and I'll just, for lack of a better term, the correction notice. It'll mention something, but it won't give you specific. I would like to see, in terms of transparency, if you include a photo, even since the association already has, since the association already has the person's website, send besides the envelope, send an email to the person with a photo of whatever the discrepancy is for the correction. So that the person is aware of what the board is actually looking at, instead of having to guess what it is. Another thing, if there's a proposal that the board is considering that maybe needs to be, and it's a significant change that requires membership to adopt, give the membership a heads up on whatever it is considered, through the email, e-blast, and I'm pretty sure some things are told. But I mean, instead of saying we're considering this, give a little bit more without disclosing the confidential part. Give it enough on this so that we have a good enough idea what the board is considering, so they have a concrete idea, especially when it comes up in open forum. What the board is talking about, what they're considering, and give them an idea if they come to the vote, they can know what to agree upon.
That's an interesting question. I guess welcome to the world today, and I'm not quite sure how an HOA can impact the interaction between neighbors. I mean, other than modeling good behavior, being open with our neighbors, the HOA provides events, paid, unpaid, and I have to say, with the exception, New Year's is a paid event. Frankly, everything else and anything involving our children is free to our community. There's a $3 fee for visitors. That way we are allowing visitors, children in. Coming up in this February roundup, there's a great article about the women of Red Heart and how that community gets together and watches out for one another with the neighborhood watch and so on. So, how do we change this as a community or as an HOA? I don't know. And I will say now that back in the day, perhaps more and more people came. I do agree back when it was shiny and new and all the houses were brand new and people would come here. But on an average event like the concert or the movie, we might have like 350 folks. So we're doing our part, and the members have to do their part as well. But I mean, life is what it is. but I would say modeling good behavior. And since I have just a couple of seconds left, so Craig, I love Neighborhood Watch, and the reason, legal counsel had said to put Neighborhood Watch at an arm's length from the association, because we don't want to get sued. So while we encourage it, we can't take part in it.
Yes, thank you for that question. And it's a very important question indeed, because, as directors, we work in a body of 5 to bring change, to improve our community, whether it's through, CPR compliance, or having events, family events. Let's look at having a homeowner appreciation day, where the event will be free. We'll invite vendors to come in and, charge for their goods and services. For example, a couple of years ago, we had a Carl's Jr. truck, with their burger combos, and to offset some of the costs, we can look at having vendors take back 25% of the proceeds. We can evaluate that and see that it's feasible, viable, and responsible. And who knows, maybe those costs that are 25% as a return to us, and they offset all the costs for you, for the association to bring you in. And it may be a plus on the positive side, going back into our books. Also, going back to the issue about smartphones, right? Customer service. You have the ability to change the language on your browser, whether you use Google or Apple services, to your language. Let's look at not only improving the customer service experience, like Social Security does, where you can change the language of your services for Social Security. Let's look at, giving you the power and the tools in your hand to look at our information in Spanish, Arabic, and other native languages, Korean, because I'm not on some of your doors. Some of you spoke Arabic, and I do not. But at least we were able to communicate on some of the issues, and so some of you all speak Korean, and I don't speak Korean, but I speak Spanish. So let's tailor the customer experience and give you the option to do it in your native language. Thank you.
My understanding of the board is anybody that's been elected to the board that had previously served. Now, as a new board member, the first thing you want to do is catch up to the speed as fast as possible on what the projects or issues in which the board is currently working on. And you want to get as much knowledge on what is in the process, what is being discussed, to find out where they are at on each one of the programs in which they're discussing. And so that they can have, so you can offer an opinion as to, it is still in the discussion phase, offer your opinion, your expertise, your knowledge regarding whatever the project is that may be something that the board hadn't thought about. And the thing is, the things that, in terms of how to impact the community, that might be something that you might offer a different bent that hadn't been discussed. So that would be the first thing as being a new board member. You want to bring yourself up to what's going on, offer your expertise, offer your knowledge. And then overall, as Angel said, for those things that I want to improve, you already have knowledge in those things that need to be approved. You've offered your information, and then with the vote, you've already offered and be 100% in alignment with the decision on that. So that's what I feel like the new board would have to be in terms, so that way you're not disjointed or represented disjointed to the community. Thank you.
This question comes up year after year after year, and I hear folks, we have to have transparency. And each year, the question is asked specifically, what is the board and the association missing? I wrote that multi-language on the website. I know that there's a service available that will cost but I like that idea. We also had a request at open session just a couple of days ago by Mr. Sam Hirsch asking for the treasurer report to be put back into the roundup. I did go back and found that the last time it was in the roundup was September 2020. So it has been some time. I agree. That's an easy thing. So if you have a complaint about we need to know this, then it's not going to happen unless we know what your concerns are. I will discuss with Mr. Nunally the correction notices that you were concerned about. The correction notices have a photo now because our new system allows that. They say what the issue is. They additionally tell you it's in response to a CCNR section 7.17. It goes on to say, don't ignore this violation. And then further says in red bold, unresolved violations may incur fines. To view those fines, go here, arthurmeadranch.com/fines. So there's a lot of communication here with the members. You also indicated something about policies. So CCNRs and bylaws have to go on the ballot for all of you guys. If it's not on the ballot, we're not changing it. Fine policies and other policies like that, they do go out to all of the homeowners requiring a 28-day comment period. And that happens. And we talk about these things at open forum.
Yes, thank you. Again, I go back to, having more events and functions for the association, like a homeowners appreciation day. And also, look at doing community walks in your neighborhood, where, we can come to your neck of the woods and see, what it is that's going on in your neck of the woods, your area, and let's just communicate, let's talk. Or, open up the clubhouse to more events. We have the Super Bowl coming up. Unfortunately, we don't have any TVs, but it would be nice to, maybe get those TVs back in and let's have an open event for all the homeowners to capacity to this room, to where you can come together, break bread with your neighbors, bring some food, share that food, have a good conversation, and watch the Super Bowl. Root for your team, regardless of who it is. But I'm thinking Baltimore and Detroit.
Detroit.
And let's leverage the clubhouse to open it. Let's open up the clubhouse to everyone, and let's bring everybody here. Let's have more events, more functions. Just open events. You guys can bring your food. Let's play games. Let's play card games. Let's play chess. Let's play a lot of things, and let's just have a good time. And then at the end of the day, when we're all said and done, we'll clean up our clubhouse here. Everybody can go home happy, and you can let go and take home and show your neighbors. So let's open up the clubhouse for more events. Thank you.
I think the obvious thing would be to give them my opinions and contributions if I were elected to the board. And that's what I'm looking forward to doing. This to be a voice in the community, a fresh voice, and be able to make my contribution again here to the community that's been so good to my family over the years. I don't know the intricate workings of the board and to really get into a hard answer to this question for me, but I think that just being able to make my contributions would be my guess.
Thank you for that. And I have to say that while we can say, like, if we elect new people, we have a new board, fundamentally, I believe we all know that this is something saying, as a homeowner had indicated, the board is just like Congress. If you don't have the majority, nothing gets done. Okay, I hope that we are not like Congress. Our goal should not be 3 people on this side, 2 people on this side. And I'm here to tell you that I went back after these comments, like things get shut down. I went back, I pulled all of the minutes from this February 2023. I saw 2 votes that were split. One in which Director Curaday, Director Lopez were in the minority. The other decision, Director Goller and myself were in the minority, and everything else is voted on unanimously. So where is this split? And this new board is going to do this because they will have the majority. If that's the mindset, then I believe they are not the candidates for our community. I have tried over the last 2 years to bridge this divisiveness in our community with that kind of mindset, and it just slays me that it continues, despite the reality that our board votes, I didn't do this percentages, but what is that, 99% of the time? Because every open session, we vote on what? 10, 12, 20 issues each meeting, and we had 2 split votes. So how does that bear out? So I was in a little position.
Yes, thank you for that question, and it's another very good question for all of you. And so transparency takes many shapes and many forms. And going forward for the new board 2024, 2025, the next cycle, let's evaluate as a board, bringing in a finance committee that can be a check and a balance on the board spending regarding contracts, because again, hard times may be approaching on the horizon. You look at the economy and you see Fortune 500 companies laying off employees by the thousands. And I would add tens of thousands. So that's a sign of things to come. We need to be focusing on that, because it will only be a matter of time where we're going to get hit while gas is still going up, the price of milk is going up, eggs are still going up, your insurance rates for your home and for your car is still going up. Let's be responsible and let's spend within our means responsibly within those contracts. So that's one area. And then also, as a civil servant, I am to the Hatch Act. That's a federal law regarding how I conduct myself, not only in my professional work, but also at home. I conduct myself here, and I believe we can look at code of conduct, we can look at Common Interest Development Act, and we can go to our state legislators and say, hey, let's look at some of these areas where we can improve the conduct of directors and the conduct of committees, because on social media, there's a lot of division and bickering, and quite frankly, between committee members too. So as a director, I will not participate and edify any negative campaigning or dirty politics with the response. I'm a civil servant. I will do better for you, and you deserve better.
Well, the age we live in is a lot different than one that I grew up in, where neighbors interacted a lot with each other. Now we have what I call garage door syndrome, where they drive up the street, punch the garage door opener, drive into the garage door comes down, and you just hardly see them. It's there's not much we can do about changing that kind of behavior. However, we can have activities here at the clubhouse on the grounds here. I think that the current board has done a good job with that. There's been good activities. When my children were young, we used to come here to the activities as well. And it was just a good place of community. We need to provide what we can here for that community. I'm afraid there's not a whole lot we can do about the world of technology that we live in, what it's done to capture the attention of so many people, where we just can't put it down. Okay. But I failed to mention, I also came this year to the Veterans Day celebration, and I've than to the other activities I mentioned before, that were all done very good, done by volunteers. And we applaud those who contribute their time and their talents to provide good activities for the members of our Covey Ranch community.
The one thing I'd like to see, and I don't know, since I'm not on the board, it's just my perception, would be that any decisions, or I should say, things that came up in terms of violation of CCNR, or things that would take a negative light towards a member. I know the board reaches out to that person. I'll take a lot and continue to do that. I would like to see that the violations letter, if we could reword that in a way that's a little bit more inviting versus condemning. I'm not saying that is either way, but I'm just saying a little bit more inviting so somebody wants to take care of it. For instance, if you don't, this is what's going to happen. Save the condemnation letter for the second with the fine comes up. With the announcement of the violation, that would be something to be more of an imitation type letter. The other thing is, if there is a violation, let's check and see if there was a previous approval first. Because it may have been previous approval when that violation that was discovered. But let's do our research first. If there was a previous approval for that, there's no need to go through the violation. So that would be something that I would look at changing if it comes down to it. Thanks.
Thank you, Courtney. So for my fellow neighbors and you ranchers, you have a lot of homework, to do and to evaluate, review the candidates before you today on what their platform is, their vision for you, for the new board, the next board for 2024, 2025, how things will go forward. And so please just do your research, evaluate, look at your values, and identify which candidates best identify and respect and align with your values. And so we can be respectful of each other's opinions, point of views, and position. Whoever you support, regardless whether you support, Mr. Morin, Mr. Nunally, Madam Chair, Renee Osburn, regardless of who you support, I will respect your vote and your decision. I can only present my arguments, and I can also present, what I believe we can do best going forward. So, regarding the next board, for the next vision, the next trajectory, the next direction, let's bring accountability, transparency, and financial and fiscal responsibility to you, so that in the event our economy reaches a point where we're going to be hurting and struggling, and many of you need to lose your jobs, at least the association, we can assure that the association can still continue to function, provide you services, and also, the customer service experience again. I can't stress enough where there's providers out there that can provide you these tools on a smartphone at less than 10 cents on the dollar, and I'm sure you can find 10 cents probably in the car somewhere per month that can help with this and help give you a better customer service experience. My name is Lopez Ramirez. I ask for your vote. And if you want to split votes for candidates, then that's totally up to you. And I thank Gregory Morin for joining me together in the campaign going forward. Thank you, Senator Rance. Thank you for taking time from your Saturday to join us. Whether you're at home or here in person, we appreciate you. We love you. Time to go forward.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank Courtney for her time today and for monitoring this discussion. I want to thank everybody in this room for coming, for your participation, and everybody on Zoom. You're doing your part, and I wish that this room was overflowing. I wish the Zoom was overflowing with people there as well. But you will soon have the opportunity to elect the board of directors. I'm pleased to be a candidate. I am campaigning with even Lopez Ramirez, and I also want to mention that I'm endorsed in this campaign by Ed Delgado, who is our Moreno Valley City Councilman and Mayor Pro Tem here in Moreno Valley, and I also feel like I bring to this candidacy many years of experience in the business world, managing multi-million-dollar sales territories, interacting with engineers, contractors, and building and facility owners. And I feel like I bring a lot of talent that can be utilized here in our community. Thank you. I want to let you know I also speak Spanish fluently, and so I have neighbors that I just speak to in Spanish, and so I'm able to reach out to more people like that. I appreciate your friendships. My name is Morin, and I would appreciate your votes. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank all the candidates who are applying for the two positions that are open at the present time. Obviously, you're going to make your best pick for the board. The things that you want to be looking at. Each one of us had our say as to what we see going forward for the board. You have to ask yourself, does that fit in the things that you want to see happen for the board? Is it fiscally responsible? Is it going to do something that's going to benefit for yourself, for your family, for whatever thing that you have, whatever projects or things that you may want to, that you intend for the board in terms you expect, your expectations of the board? Do they fit that? These are the things that's going to be asked you. The challenges that you have in the past. Have any of our answers answered those questions on those areas? Are there things that you still have questions on? Okay, will you be able to go to the board comfortably and be able to speak to them? After all, as Angel said, we serve you. We actually work on your behalf, not the other way around. So, while I have a lot of things I could say, I'm working within the community, I keep up with a lot of things, I try to offer what I think, my thoughts doesn't offer anything unless I'm with the board and helping them to understand the neighborhood. Okay, so again, weigh your decision wisely and choose the best candidate according to what you believe.
Thank you, everybody here. And I do agree with my fellow candidates that fundamentally everybody who votes needs to see if we align. I make no bones about my fact that I want to address our compliance needs, pure and simple. And I would venture to say of our 2,677 homeowners here, the vast majority are are not law-abiding, rule-abiding citizens who take pride of ownership in their properties. And unfortunately, we have a smaller subsegment who don't. And my goal is to continue moving forward and bringing these people into compliance. If you go to my website, reneeosburn.com, I have a video because I don't have sufficient time. But the tools that the board of directors has that are, in order to enforce it is really small. We have notifications, we have fines, and so on, before we get to things that are going to cost all of us money, such as lawsuits. This has been suggested that if we kept them low, after you fine them 3 times and take them to court, well, guess what? That costs us money. If we can get their attention that we are serious earlier in the process, throughout the many notices that we give them, not only does bringing them into compliance better for the community look, but it also doesn't cost us money. So I make no bones about my role in that. My other things, talking about transparency, again, board decides on things, but it takes directors to champion them, to build a business case. We created Coffee with the Director, in large part because I wanted to do this. We know that in an open session, you can speak for 3 minutes, but unless it's on the agenda, we cannot respond. However, since it's not a board meeting, sitting here having coffee with us on a Saturday morning or Wednesday evening, you can ask the questions. It's not the board ruling, it's what's on the agenda. If that was my time, then I'll close it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. So my response to that is regarding folks, whether you're my neighbor, there is CT&Rs that we do agree to abide by and close escrow on your loan. And so maybe these homeowners, somewhere in the process they got lost because when I bought my home, I was never given CT&Rs until I actually violated, I had a CT&R violation, but I got a program, I came into compliance. So there are very ambitious realtors out there that want to sell a house, and some way from now, along the way, those CCNRs just give us, like they got lost from me. So let's start with that process. Let's make sure that realtors that come into Sunny Ranch and sell homes to people outside, that the first order of business is that they have those CCNRs in front of them when they sign and they close escrow. I didn't have that privilege, but that's okay. I came into compliance. I love my community. So let's start there. And then second, let's look at the schedule. And in the event we're following the process and some way, somehow that process, there's skips or bumps in the road and we're not following it, to the letter as it was written, that's a challenge. And it can be complicated for us because now the violator would have standing to, fight back and say, hey, where's my notice? I didn't get it. Or I got my notice, but, I get an invitation to appear before you guys. So let's make sure that we're on top of the schedule process, so we can bring these folks into compliance. So there's a lot of issues that can be addressed, and the next board can take up the solutions of how to address them. But at least those are ideas that I can present to you today where we can start, based on my experience. That's the best I can do at this time, but certainly I'm open for the new board going forward of what ideas, what solutions you present. And
Talk to your neighbors. You were in a
of course, I talked to all the neighbors. They're all, 3 houses in front of me, 3 to my left, 3 to my right, and 3 goes further up in my street. I talked to all of them, and I had the pleasure and honor of knocking on all their doors in our city council. And so a lot of you are already aware and know going on. Thank you, and let's find a solution together. Thank you.
Well, it's difficult to go and talk to your neighbor about an issue. And you want to ruffle relationships, and that is the way that relationships can get ruffled very easily. It's important that the Sunny Branch organization is able to be on top of those things. I think that it's a good thing that the current board has implemented a program where a third party goes and finds the violations that are obvious, and then takes those into a regular and equally applied process. That I don't think it's fair to put talking to your neighbor on anybody.
I don't mean that. I mean that you as a director, how would you do it? What are you going to do?
Oh, yeah, I think that that third party program that the current board of directors has put in place is good. I understand.
So you're for the clients.
I am for fines. Fines are important. It's a motivator.
Yes, obviously, from what and I'm just going to take it not only from the water vessels, but let's just say in general, things where, things are inequity, where, case in point, where one homeowner has something in their backyard that they've got approval to have, another person has the same thing, but they're getting fined for it. The water vessel, like you mentioned, the person had it, they probably had it for years. Okay. It may have been addressed by the board, but you don't know about this thing. But you read the bylaws in the CPNR, and it says no water vessel. So why is this person allowed to do it? Now, maybe the board has done some things to do it, but at that point, you would probably have to look at, the board would have to make a determination, should we go up to a stronger measure to enforce the importance of compliance to the CPNR. And that would be something that the board had to agree as a whole. Okay? But that would be something that, because here's the thing, it's not fair for you to be held accountable for your violation if they're being allowed to get away with that. Okay? So, and I'm not saying that the board actually does that, because then you're gonna have chaos. So, what I would say at this point is that you can shoot an email to one of the board members so let them know if that's happening done.
You're with the fines.
Yeah, the fines.
Or you say, well, no, we gotta give them a break because the economy.
Oh, no.
Because
I agree.
okay, so go for it.
I agree with you.
Thank you, Grace, for, so I was like, I made no bones about, I am in favor of bringing non-compliant homes into compliance. If you go to my website, I have a little bit, 7 minutes, I promise not to give you it here. The board and our communication committee, so we try very hard. I met with Mr. Morin just the other day, and I came prepared with lots of information. I came prepared with just these. Month after month after month, we put something in the roundup. Important violation reminders. You know, the inspections go on. House numbers. Bottom line, you need house numbers. Failure to correct may result in fines, because I don't want anybody saying like, oh, I didn't know I need house numbers, and oh my gosh, you mean you can fine me? So we continue. Now, you can lead off, of course, the water, but you can't make them drink, so to speak. However, part of our tool set is notifications. We've discussed notifications. Are they inviting? I don't know, when somebody comes and says you're doing something wrong, I don't know how you can make that inviting, but they are respectful. The first paragraph says, when you purchased here, I'll paraphrase, you agree to adhere to the governing documents. During a recent inspection, the following violation was noted. Straight to the point. No kumbaya moment, but just like, let's go from here. Fines are not punishment. They're used to enforce, and it is our responsibility as a board to enforce them. Because that's what you guys signed us up for. It's like, go and enforce the rules. And every member who lives here, also, when they bought their house here, they agreed to be bound by those very same rules. So it's not a matter of punishment.
Serving, I'm accountable to you by federal law. I serve you regardless of your position, whether you endorse me or not, whether you vote for me or not. At the end of the day, I feel serve you. And I will do my very best to continue to serve you no matter of circumstances or the process. And I stand by that comment, I stand by that statement. And as far as apathy and dredging up old news or information, again, let's just get away from this camp, that camp. Let's get away from these camps. Let's just get in your camp, in your corner for a change. I can't stress it enough. I'm a civil servant. You know, I work for you at the federal level. And, you know, here at the local level, I'm ready to work for you now, as I have in the last 2 years. And I'm prepared to work for you again for the next 2 years. You know, we can disagree on things, that's fine. I'll respect your opinion, your position. And we can be respectful of each other. But at the end of the day, to be a volunteer server means to serve. Thank you.
I'll try and be brief. I agree, and thank you, Robert and Angel. Yeah, no one is going to be served by continuing this divisiveness in our community. We know that we have 5 elected officials, each of us having 1 vote. We know that if things need to be changed, all right, there's no guarantee that your way goes that way. I've been voted out many times. Because apparently I did not make a sufficient business case, or it wasn't compelling enough to my fellow directors to vote that way. Life goes on. We just need to stop with like dredging up stuff that went on years ago. It benefits no one except that person who wants to just, you know, regurgitate. So I'm done with that. And you'll notice none of my marketing materials, my campaign materials refer to any of that kind of nonsense. So thank you.
I'm a little bit new to the goings on of the board of directors, and I wouldn't have any interest in. I do an investigation and trying to find out what's out there. Now, there are other things to do, right? I'm here to see. You know, I appreciate. I appreciate that. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
As for me, I'm not saying that everything needs to go back to look at, but there may be a couple of things that, not in terms of creating chaos or anything, but clarification. Okay, that would be, if it was to be looked at, it would be a point of clarification. It would be clarification within the board itself, not for the point not for the point of judging of things, for the point of judging of new things. Okay. I think the community itself wants to move forward, and I agree with that portion of moving forward. But we want to move forward as a whole. If people have questions about something, they should be able to ask those questions and get clarification. That's the only point that I would say.
I'm just gonna note that Mr. Nunally as a homeowner, certainly if you need clarification, you should email. If you have, everybody has all of the directors' email addresses. Feel free. Thank you, sir. So to answer, the gentleman had a question about who gets the fine, who gets the letter. All of our correspondence goes to the homeowner, not to the tenant. The board, when we do hearings, one of our questions is the tenant occupied? So we want to know that when we make our rulings. I will have to say, and one of the reasons why, because I've also been in for 30 years now, is that did we do as an organization a great job enforcing it? Heck no. I'm here to tell you. Because what it's going to take is consistent enforcement. And hence now why we have inspectors are us. So every 30 days, we already have it on the calendar. Every 30 days, if you're in non-compliance, you're going to get a letter. You're going to get a letter, you're going to get a hearing notice, most likely a fine, and then off we go. That is what's going to bring people into compliance. So, and those fines cannot be $25 because again, who cares? $25. You know, if it's $250, it begins to get your attention. Carol, you better get out and do that work because it's costing me money now. So we haven't done a great job in the past. And finally, I would venture to say, my fellow directors, we realize we're getting some traction now and we are seeing violations close. So I apologize that in the past, because trust me, every neighborhood in this community has at least one or two of those neighbors. And that is what we're trying to do. Thank you.
Just that question. So regarding the fines, whether they're $25, $50, or $100, how long were they in that position? How many years? And so this is where I look to the economy. What is the inflation rate? And when those fines were staying good at $25 for the first violation for years, previous boards failed to do their job to raise those fines according to the inflation rate. Because as long as you keep the fines up according to the inflation rate, you will avoid raising it 1,000%. So I'm a good fan and a proponent of the economy, looking how it performs and looking at the inflation rate. So if the fine was 20 years ago, $25, and then it was still $25 just 2 or 3 years ago, those previous boards failed you. Okay. So let's look at it from this perspective. Let's align our fines according to the inflation rate. Let's look at what's reasonable now versus what it was then, but to raise it 1,000%, that's not keeping up with the inflation rate. You're making up for 15, 20 years of lost inflation. And this is what the homeowners complaining to me about. So could it be $25 again? No. It cannot be $25 ever again. No, what's the matching number? Is it 100, 150, 250? Well, this is where a new board can evaluate what is a good, reasonable number where we can bring folks into compliance. Thank you.
I'll just mention that it is important that we do identify and take through the process people that are in violation. This particular instance you're talking about, things that are on the driveway that could impose a safety hazard. So we want a pleasant looking community. That's why we're here. Pleasant looking community, a safe community, and one that we can be proud of. And certainly to take things through the process and do right thing.
Yes, I agree with Angel in terms of, with regard to the board failing in terms of raising. If and 1,000% jump, yes, that, in my opinion, humble opinion, that was excessive. Now to reevaluate, like Angel was saying, as to what, according to what the current, financial climate, would be probably be the best interest of the homeowner as a whole, the community as a whole, to reevaluate those. Again, keeping people in compliance, but not making it punitive, or in their case, would be considered punitive. The other portion of, and again, as Renee has indicated, we all signed the CPNR, we all agree to, maintain according to the CPNR. The other thing I would like to look at is that we all have cell phones. I would be a proponent of sending a link, send a text link to the person in violation so they know it instantaneously. Because everybody has it. So if you get a text link from, let them know that it's coming from the association of a violation on there, and they check the link, they have the information instantaneously. Because not everybody looks at the email, not everybody will open, checks the mail right away. They will look at the link if it's sent from the association. That much I can guarantee you.
Thank you.
And over the last 6, 7, 8 months, people have ran background checks on me. Why? Because I signed up for those services to inform me when someone's background check, and you're welcome to do so. You're right. You know, I exposed myself by running for director seat to, you know, to subject myself to that. I have no issues because at the end of the day, I have a top secret security clearance, so that carries a lot of responsibility, meaning that I cannot have financial problems in my background. I have to maintain an excellent credit level. Otherwise, I lose my top secret security clearance, and that's going to impact my job and my ability to put food on my table. So, you want to run your background checks, please. I welcome you to. You're welcome to. I'll even give you a copy. But just know, remember, Uncle Sam has run an extensive background on me to award me a top secret security clearance. I have no bankruptcies, no liens. You want to report? I'm happy to give you one. Thank you.
I'll jump in here. While I was working, I did in nuclear power plants. I did in transportation corridors, the ports. This is all post 9/11 where things got much more restrictive, and I did secure a U.S. Customs and Border Protection Global Entry Program, trusted travelers in my international travel, and that was so I could avoid the long lines at customs and go to the kiosk and move right through and across the border. I also had the TWIC, the Transportation Worker Identification Credential that gave me access to ports, train stations, train facilities, airports, and all kinds of transportation things. So, yeah, I don't have anything to hide. I'm an average guy.
Oh, you're not this average.
As for me, I'm like Angel. I welcome the background checks myself. Being a naval officer when I was active duty, I had also had top secret clearance. I no longer have a top secret clearance because, but I do go through background checks because I do work with children in my volunteer as a bowling coach. So they routinely run background checks on the industry. So I welcome you. Go ahead. knock yourself out. I mean, you won't find anything, on the internet. So, with that said, you know, I work with, and anybody that's serving board, that's going to be serving board, I feel that they should feel the same way too, you know.
Thanks, Sam, for that question. So there's recent legislation called the Corporate Transparency and the that association, most associations, when they get to a certain asset level, may be required to report to the United States Treasury Department Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, it's a mouthful, under this Corporate Transparency Act. It was enacted in Congress in 2021. As an example, of the anti-money laundering laws to prevent terrorist money in corporate and traditionally not laundering money for terrorist attacks. But so it is very likely this goes into effect. We'll be probably doing this by January 1, 2025.
One of the things that I hear, some of the things that she's mentioned is something that I've already mentioned about, the staffing hours within the office, and I've already brought that up, so I'm going to rehash that. But one of the things I do like to see is that, yes, some of the fines that, and I'll give you a case in point, because it happened to me, where grass, and we all, and you live in the ranch here, you've had this experience where the girls come in and take out your money, and you have bald spots in there. It rarely happens at a time when the weather is not conducive to replenish those grass, and they're triple digits. You have a very hard time to try and put the grass back in. You get a fine to come back to fix that area. You may come in, explain to the board, I can't do it. It's triple digit. You can't go during this time. You ask for time until when it gets cooler, to which you may be told, well, we can't give you that much time. You need to find a way to do it. You can change the thing to adapt the landscape to desert climate, which means a lower expense, which you may not have the money for. So what I would like to see the board do is to be a little bit more compassionate in the sense that if a person's not able to do it, give them the time that they're asking for.
Thank you.
Regarding staffing issues, a lot of companies are being created, including the federal government. They're allowing what's called flex time. Maybe we can do an introduction to flex time where, for example, we can allow per day one of the staff members flex time where maybe they can come in part of the morning, take a good part of the afternoon off, and then come back later from the afternoon to the evening to have extended hours, like say from 6 p.m. to 7 or even 8 p.m. That's just an idea. I mean, something to try. It works, we can go forward. It doesn't work, and this is back to the drawing board. But flex time is something that works. It works for Social Security, it works for federal agencies. More state governments are applying flex time, local governments applying flex time, Fortune 500 companies are applying flex time. So just an idea of what we can probably do here at the association, just allow flex time for the employees. So that gives flexibility. We have somebody here later hours and for more service to be offered. And then regarding the issues of homes, mulch is an alternative to grass. So there's a process for that. Just in your architecture application, get the guidelines, and we'll save water. Thank you.
So, Ms. Mosier, the office is open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Always. there was one call out that I'm aware of. If this is something that is happening, we're not gonna discuss, it's my turn now. If people are coming here and the office is not open during those hours, then by all means, drop the directors, an email and we will address it. Because their expectation by the board set with Seabreeze Management those are the hours that we choose. Going on to the fines, again, fines are not punitive. We are not punishing people. We are enforcing our CCNRs. And that unique, understanding their unique circumstances is what we do each and every executive session. These folks are called to hearing to say, after notice 1 and notice 2 and notice 3 is come and explain your unique circumstances to us. That is their opportunity. And trust me, we hear all sorts of stuff. You know, deaths in the family and, you know, all, and the board, contrary to some people's opinion, is very compassionate. I would, would you agree? Anybody who asks for an extension, 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, we grant the extension because again, we're not looking to penalize, we're trying to